Hi, welcome or welcome back to Books and Bocadillos. My name is Maria Andrea, and it's been a while. I thought I would come back to my channel in this format, in this way, through a week in review kind of style video. I used to really enjoy these. I haven't done one of these videos in a really long time, but I really enjoy doing these because they're just chatty videos in which I talk about life and books and whatever else is on my mind, and usually a bit about food as well. So I'd like to start out with the highs and the lows. I think it's going to take me a bit to get back into the groove, and I might be a little bit awkward to start with, but thank you for being here. Highs. I'm going to talk about just highs since probably my last video, highs and lows since. But I'm probably going to try to also keep it contained a bit because it's been a while. So probably let's just talk about the last couple of weeks. In the last couple of weeks, a few of the highs have been, today is Sunday, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. And last Sunday, I hosted a sniffing garden planting memorial for my dog. My dog, Miss Moo, passed away the end of March. And a month later, on April 27th, we hosted a memorial for her. We created a sniffing garden in our yard. She had dug up a hole in a patch where I had slowly been trying to tend herbs in, and there had been a freeze and lost some of the plants that I had, like lemongrass, and precisely in the spot where the lemongrass had been planted and died and I had taken it out, she dug a hole, a pretty sizable hole. So we decided to honor her memory and plant a sniffing garden for her. And that's really, really cute. I really like how it's turned out. Maybe I'll post a picture. Let me know if you want to see a picture, and I can post it in the community tabs if you're interested. But that was really wonderful because we had our friends and my mom and my nephew come by and help us bring plants, bring food, just bring memories, and we gathered and we talked about Miss Moo and how much we loved her. So I think that was a major high in the last couple of weeks. I also went to for the first time in a while, I went to an in real life book club at my local indie with my friend Marty and other friends, and we had a great time. And I'll talk about the book that we read for book club in just a little bit. So, kind of like reconnecting with friends again, finding my community again after just being in a state of grief and just really like struggling with the grief. Sometimes when we grieve, we tend to withdraw, and it's nice when we can come out and reconnect with the community, and so that's been a real high, very much needed. Then I also went to a community event at the bookstore on Friday, and that was a fun time. Lows. I got sick in the last couple of weeks. I've been to the doctor, taking medication, nothing major, just kind of one of those routine things where you catch a bug and you just get some treatment to help you get through it. But I'm on the up and up. I'm feeling a lot better. It's just sometimes these bugs you catch them and they're with you and gotta get them out at some point. So that's been the low of the week. Community posts. I haven't well, my last community post was to let you, my community here on BookTube, know that I needed a break after my dog passed away. I needed to let you know that I needed to take time for that. I haven't been able to check comments. I had to take a break. So I know that I have comments waiting to be reviewed, and I know that I have mentions that I need to address, and I haven't because I really wanted to take a full break from BookTube. I got behind. At first I was still kind of hopping in and out watching videos here and there, but then the videos I was watching are for my friends, of course, and made me really want to get back and like be a part of these conversations and be in the tags and do the events. I was really hoping to do a lot for People April, and I had to let go a lot of my plans, and I just needed to take a break. And honestly, like I couldn't talk about my dog without crying, and I cry every single day. I cried this morning. But I feel stronger today than I did yesterday. I feel stronger today than I did a month ago in terms of my grief. So I think I just needed to wait until I could feel a little bit more myself and a little bit more rooted and grounded and strong again. I haven't done any tags, and I'm sure I've been tagged, and I have had been tagged in videos before, but I will get back to doing tags soon. Books that I've read. So in the last month, this is kind of going to be like an April wrap-up video. This section is going to feel that way anyway. I read for my Books and Bocadillos book club, we read The Invisible Life of Euridice Gusmao by Marta Batalha, and this was translated by Eric M.B. Becker, and it's published by One World. I'll make a review of this, but spoiler, I loved it. Bite by Aimee Nezhukumatathil. I read this for in Real Life Book Club with my local indie bookstore. We met this last week on Thursday to talk about it. I loved it. I'll do a short micro review at the end of this video if you care to know more. I also read Once I Was You by Maria Hinojosa. Maria Hinojosa is a journalist. She is the founder of Futuro Media. She is the main host for Latino USA, and that's a podcast that I talk about regularly on this channel in my weekend review videos. When I talk about podcasts, I think I've talked about Futuro Media podcasts and Latino USA as one of my favorite podcasts. So yeah, I wanted to read her memoir. I had been meaning to read it for years. I think it came out in 2021. I can't remember, but I will do a micro review at the end of this video also. And I also reread The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion. I was like, what, who? Joan Didion. I was grieving, and I remember reading that book years ago and needed to kind of read about grief again. Even though it's a different kind of grief, I still just really wanted to think about the ways in which we grieve. So I reread that book. What am I currently reading? I am currently reading for the Books and Bocadillos book club. We are reading Night at the Fiestas, a collection of short stories by Kirstin, Valdez, Quade. I've just started it this week. I read the first story titled Nemesia, and I found it to be like a little bit of like horror vibes. Like the whole first story, I was on edge. Like, where is this going? What is going to happen here with this family? I think a lot of a strong theme in this book is about family. So a lot of these stories center on complicated family dynamics and family just quirks and situations. So I'm in the second story and I am really liking it so far. So I'll be talking about this again. Estación del Pantano. I am reading this on Everend as an ebook. Estación del Pantano by Yuri Herrera. This book, I had started the season of the swamp early this year, or late last year. I had started the season of the swamp, which is a translated version of La Estación del Pantano, but I couldn't get into the translation. The way that it was translated, the language felt awkward to me. Spanish is my first language, and there were just things that I would notice as a Spanish speaker that just sounded a bit off to me, and I just couldn't. It just felt like weird. So I had to DNF Season of the Swamp, and Aaron, one of my friends through the Pinedo Project, had recommended that I read it in Spanish, which of course, right? why not? So I was able to get La Estación del Pantano, and I'm in the beginning. I kind of starting over. I'm rereading. It's a short read, so hopefully I'll get through it soon. And then I joined on Reddit. I'm on Reddit. I'm a Redditor. I joined the group that's reading Middlemarch in a year. So I am back on track with Middlemarch, and I'm hoping to stick to it. I feel like I had been taking my time and like reading in short bits here and there. I have the Serial app. I have the hard copy of the book, and I was kind of going between Serial and the book. But I feel like maybe I need a little bit more structure. So I'm hoping that just having this group to read with is going to be helpful. And then the next one. So here I'm going to just put in a little bit of a book haul. So after Miss Moo passed away, I was really in just needing poetry. I was really only like excited to read shorter bits, you know. So and it was also Poetry Month, so I went to my local Barnes and Noble, and I picked up some poetry books, and this is what I'm currently reading. It's titled Dog Songs by Mary Oliver. I love Mary Oliver. I didn't have this in my collection, so picked it up. I actually read one of the books from here at Miss Moo's memorial, and I'll read it to you here. Her Grave by Mary Oliver. She would come back, dripping thick water from the green bog. She would fall at my feet. She would draw the black skin from her gums in a hideous and wonderful smile, and I would rub my hands over her pricked ears and her cunning elbows. And I would hug the barrel of her body, amazed at the unassuming, perfect arch of her neck. It took 4 of us to carry her into the woods. We did not think of music, but anyway, it began to rain slowly. Her wolfish, invitational half-pounce, her great and lordly satisfaction at having chased something. My great and lordly satisfaction at her splash of happiness as she barged through the pitch pines, swiping my face with her wild, slightly mossy tongue. Does a hummingbird think he himself invented his crimson throat? He is wiser than that, I think. A dog lives 15 years, if you're lucky. Do the cranes crying out in the high clouds think it is all their own music? A dog comes to you and lives with you in your own house, but you do not therefore own her, as you do not own the rain or the trees or the loss which pertain to them. Does a bear wandering in the autumn up the side of the hill think all by herself she has imagined the refuge and the refreshment of her long slumber? A dog can never tell you what she knows from the smells of the world, but you know, watching her, that you know almost nothing. Does a water snake, with his backbone of diamonds, think the black tunnel on the bank of the pond is a palace of his own making? She roved ahead of me through the fields, yet would come back, or wait for me, or be somewhere. Now she is buried under the pines, nor will I argue it or pray for anything but modesty and not to be angry. Through the trees there is the sound of the wind palavering, the smell of the pine needles. What is it but a taste of the infallible energies? How strong was her dark body, how apt is her grave place, how beautiful is her unshakable sleep. Finally, the slick mountains of love break over us. So this book has been my balm of comfort in the last month. Another book that I picked up during that haul at Barnes & Noble was this one, Dog-Eared, a collection of poems edited by Duncan Wu, poems about humanity's best friend. So I'm kind of going between the two. A couple that I have not read through yet, but I'm looking forward to, that I purchased recently, is this one, The Path to Kindness, Poems of Connection and Joy, edited by James Cruz, editor of How to Love the World, forward by Nezhukumatathil. This is what the inner flap says. Poems are a path to connection. Simple gestures of kindness can make our day, open our hearts, change our minds, and brighten our worlds, especially in times of uncertainty. Here, more than 100 poets celebrate small moments that allow us to surrender more fully to joy and create communities of uplift. This diverse collection of well-loved and emerging voices include Julia Alvarez, Casey K. Smith, Joy Harjo, Marie Howe, Ada Limon, Ross Gay, Danusha Lamedi, Naomi Shihab Nye, Alberto Rios, Cornelius Eady, January Gill O'Neill, Kimberly Blazer, Linda Hogan, Lorna Crozier, and Susan Musgrave. Apologies if I messed up any of those names, I'm sure I did. Accompanied by pauses and prompts for reflection, these poems will inspire you to be kind to yourself, appreciate the kindness of others, and marvel at the kindness of the world. This is published by Story Publishing. So a bunch of these are like favorite poets of mine, and some of these I have never heard of before, and I'm really excited to discover new favorite or cherished poets. And lastly, another one I'm really excited about, and I'm hoping to get to this one soon. This book feels like summer to me. It has all the summer feels. So it is this, Invisible Strings, 113 Poets Respond to the Songs of Taylor Swift, edited by Kristie Frederick Daugherty. I'm not a Swiftie, but I'm a fan of Taylor Swift's music. So I really love the idea of responding to Taylor Swift's lyrics. And I had to pick this book up because it also contains some of my favorite poets. So I'll read the back of this one. It says, "Let the decoding begin." With a record-breaking 4 Grammy Awards for Album of the Year, Taylor Swift stands alone in the world of pop music. One of the most talented lyricists of all time, she captivates millions of fans around the globe with the narrative depth and emotional resonance of her songwriting. In Invisible Strings, poet, professor, and dedicated Swiftie, Kristie Frederick Daugherty has brought together 113 contemporary poets, each contributing an original poem, that responds to a specific Taylor Swift song. In a spirit of celebration and collaboration, the poets have taken a cue from Swift's love of dropping clues and puzzles for her fandom to decode as each poem alludes to a song without using direct lyrics or titles. The collection showcases a diverse and accomplished array of writers, including the 23rd U.S. Poet Laureate Joe Harjo, Pulitzer Prize winners Diane Seuss, Yusef Komunyakaa, Carl Phillips, Ray Armantrout, Paul Muldoon, and Gregory Partlow, National Book Critics Circle Award winners Mary Jo Bang and Laura Kasiski, and best-selling poets Maggie Smith, Aimee Nezhukumatathil, Kate Baer, Amanda Lovelace, Tyler Knott Gregson, and Jane Hirschfield. Swifties will experience the profundity and nuance of Swift's lyrics through these poems while delighting in matching the poems to songs from all her eras, vault tracks included. For poetry lovers, this one-of-a-kind anthology offers an unparalleled collection of new work from today's most lauded and revered poets. This is published by Penguin Random House. So, and it's a fantastic cover. I really love this. It's a hardcover and love the metallic washi tape look of the songs, the title. Okay. Now, I haven't DNF'd any books, and I want to talk about books that are on my pile of possibilities, or books that I'm thinking maybe I could pick up this month. And so this book was recommended to me in the last couple of years. I purchased it in the last couple of years from my indie bookstore from my friend Marty. She recommended this book to me a while ago. I bought it from her bookstore, have not read it, and I'm thinking maybe this is the time for it. And it is The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein. I've heard really great things about this. It's been recommended to me. I knew it was about a dog, and I wasn't drawn to it as much, but now I feel like I'm at a point where if there's any sadness in here, I haven't looked up if the dog dies in this book, but if the dog dies in this book, or if there's any bit of sadness, I had a friend tell me to just give myself some time to cry and cry and cry as much as I could and just let it all out. So maybe watch sad movies, read sad books, read the books that I'd been avoiding because I didn't want to cry. And now I feel like now I want to read the books that make me cry, or watch the movies that I'd been avoiding because I didn't want to cry. So I have a feeling this book is going to make me cry. So I feel like it's something that I need to pick up just to kind of continue to purge not purge is not the right word, but release, cleanse and release, catharsis of a sense to have this emotional full release of all the feels. For Mental Health May, I think I need to read this one. Social Justice for the Sensitive Soul, How to Change the World in Quiet Ways by Dorcas Cheng Tosun. It's been a rough year with the reality of living in the United States as a Latina and watching the politics of this country become a gut punch to our community. No, that's very light. I don't even know how to say this nicely. I want to be nice and polite, but what has been happening to the Latino community in this country since January of this year, well, I mean, let's face it, it's always been happening, but the way that it's happening now and the degree to which it's happening and how brazenly it is happening is off the charts. And so I'm needing to kind of work on being a social justice warrior, even in my quiet ways, even in the ways that I just exist in the world. So I really would like to get to this book, and I feel like I need this in this season. I try to be gentle with this community and not be overly political on my channel, but I feel like I'm struggling with that more and more. Translating Myself and Others by Yuri. And I don't know. It's also my birthday month, so a lot of self-reflection is happening, and I think this is a book that is calling to me in regards to my own self-reflection. And then another one in the same vein, because it's my birthday year, My What If Year by Alicia Fernandez Miranda. This is, I believe this is a memoir. Yeah, this is a memoir. What if you gave yourself a second chance? This is a book for every woman who imagines a different life and tells herself, you just can't, you can. Alicia Miranda shows us, and in the process of trying on the lives of your fantasies, you just might find the one you want for real. Delightfully irreverent, My What If Year recounts the adventures of a successful Latina CEO and mother of twins who, on the cusp of turning 40, takes a break from her job for 1 year to explore the dream career she never pursued. Alicia's hilarious internship adventure takes her to Broadway, the London art scene, a posh Scottish hotel, and the workout world. Her experience is both challenging and extremely humbling, teach her the real meaning of success. And then a few of these next books for Possibilities are for Horror Mayhem. And they are Terror Story by Hilary Lecter, author of Temporary, a book that I absolutely loved. And actually, this one is not Horror Mayhem. This is just a book that I also felt drawn to because of grief. My bad. Okay, now these are the Horror Mayhem books. Oh my goodness. Fever Dream by Samantha Schweblin. This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. Carcoma, which is, I think the English translation recently came out, it's Woodworm by Leila Martinez. And those are the potential horror mayhem. I'll try to pick one at least. And then the other two that I have here are Blob, a love story by Maggie Su. And I'm going to be rereading The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I meant to start it last week and I didn't actually start it when I meant to. But in celebration of The Great Gatsby's 100th anniversary, 100th birthday, this is one that I reread every few years or so. And the last time I read this was in the last year or the year. In the last couple of years, I think I reread this. And I would like to reread it and be able to reflect on it and why I loved it so much and how I feel about it now. So, I usually then talk about community, and in this section, I just want to say thank you thank you to all of my friends here on BookTube who have reached out to me in my absence to check in, to ask how I'm doing, to send me a note, to wish me well, to just say hi. Like, all of that's been really nice and lovely. And thank you for your understanding. There were so many things I had been juggling before my dog passed away, and that week she passed was a really tumultuous week, with family emergency at the front end of the week, and then coming home to the last few days, an unexpected loss of my dog. Everything that I'd been doing just kind of like got put on pause, and things, like, there were so many things I meant to do I didn't get to actually do. So thank you, because if I fell behind on a buddy read, you were there for me. Thank you, because if I had to step away, you were there for me. Thank you, because if I needed a friend, you were there for me. Thank you, because even in being absent, I kept seeing notifications of new subscribers. So welcome if you've subscribed to my channel in the last month while I've been away. Thank you and welcome. I noticed and I felt grateful. And I received notifications of being mentioned in videos, and I needed to wait because I didn't feel like I had the emotional strength to click, to watch, to be present with you. And thank you for thinking of me, for mentioning me, for tagging me. Thank you. I am hoping to do a video in which I just get to film my live reactions as I'm reading comments and watching videos in which I'm mentioned. I talked to my husband about that, and he thought it was a great idea. So I hope you think it's a great idea. I'll try to, as I'm doing that, I'll try to get all those moments filmed and like put together in a series of little videos here and there. And a few things that are on my mind and I'm excited about. I'm thinking about Yagas. Yagas is an event that I started last year. I didn't really plan it. I didn't really make a big thing of it. I just kind of said, hey, I'm doing this if you're interested. But I've had a few like brief comment kind of interactions with Sui at Sui's Book Banter. She also loves YA literature. So maybe she and I can create content around Yagas and encourage reading YA. I love YA literature. I love reading YA. I'm so excited to get to read YA. I always read the most YA I read in the summer months. So I am looking forward to all the YA that's coming my way in the next few months. I mentioned Horror Mayhem. Misery Man, I'm going to try to read that book to make me cry. And Mental Health May I've talked about. It is my birthday month. I am hoping that I treat myself to a birthday haul. I've been collecting recommendations that my friends here on BookTube have recommended from different videos, different tags that I've been tagged in have recommended different books, and they're in a cart on bookshop.org or bookshop.com, and I want to order them and make a book haul video. So just bear with me. It's also been a bit of a difficult time. I'm trying not to spend too much. It's been a year. So I am really hoping that with my birthday, I get to treat myself. I also want to talk about what I did, what was I watching when I wasn't watching BookTube in the last couple of months. So I found a channel through another channel. So I started watching Extranjeros por el Mundo, and this is a channel where the host interviews foreigners, immigrants living in Mexico, and they talk about their experiences being a foreigner and finding their new home or a new community, a new family in Mexico, and their appreciation for the Mexican cultures, the Spanish language, and it's been really fun. And I am going to be very honest here. I am feeling like the United States has become a very hostile place to live. And I don't want to turn my back on my community here in Texas, but I have been thinking about really seriously making plans for retirement in Mexico. I can't leave right now because family doesn't allow that to happen. Like, I am married, I have family here. I cannot leave my family. I have community. I don't want to leave my community and my friends. But as I think about my future, I'm more and more thinking about my future and my heading home. And my heading home means heading home, to my home country, to my country of origin. So I've been thinking about what that would be like, you know. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube content about people self-deporting, people going back home. I watched a commercial aired on Easter Sunday at my mom's. My mom is a Spanish speaker. She watches Spanish media, Spanish language media. And there we are watching, I think it was Univision. It might have been another one of those, Unimas or something like that. I don't remember which channel particularly, but it was, I think, Univision or Unimas, one of those. And there was propaganda on Spanish language television that was really hostile, that made it very clear that we are not welcome. And then you get the feeling that as an immigrant, you are not welcome. That if you don't speak English, doors are shut in your face. That if you don't conform, and even then, when you do everything, when you spend your whole life learning a language and assimilating and trying your best to live a decent, hardworking life, that is still not good enough. And I am tired of feeling like I'm not good enough as an immigrant, not deserving enough. That every time that we are successful, it's because of affirmative action or DEI, or we don't deserve it. And it's theft. It's theft of our intelligence and abilities and hard work. And to take away the pride, the sense of pride that like your accomplishments are just not, that it's not worthy, or that you're not worthy, or that you're not good enough to be called an American, that you're never going to be called an American because of the color of your skin, of the fact that you're an immigrant. So I've been watching these videos, and a good thing happened. One, I found a renewed sense of pride in my country and my language, and a renewed sense of pride in knowing that the home is still there, that there's always a place for me in Mexico. And I've been so impressed with President Gloria Sheinbaum and all that she's doing, and I cannot wait to be able to go back and visit. I haven't been in a little while, but that's a story for another day. But in watching Extranjeros por el Mundo, I found a channel called Yulia con Y, and she really inspired me. And she is a Russian immigrant living in Mexico. I really feel inspired by her videos, and so I'm hoping to do a few more of like videos in which I incorporate food and like food reviews and talking about food, while also talking about books and reading. So I have some ideas that I'm kind of going through in my head, and I can't wait to see what comes from that. Gracias, Julia, por la inspiración. And food and recipes. So for Easter Sunday, I took to my mom's Easter feast, Fresas con crema. It's basically just like strawberries tossed in sugar and made into like a parfait with Cool Whip. I'm vegan, so I get the coconut Cool Whip, and then drizzled with some condensed milk. I am vegan, so I use the coconut condensed milk, and it was really good. We really enjoyed it, and they're usually served, well, chilled. I also just made vanilla ice cream this morning. I had talked about vanilla ice cream being underrated on my channel before, and once you ever feel like vanilla ice cream is boring, try making it yourself. It is the most warm and sweet flavor in the world. It's like comfort, in iced comfort. And if you are having hot flashes, it's the best medicine. And then, speaking of hot flashes and iced goodies, my birthday is coming up, so I think that the best kind of cake for me right now is ice cream cake. So I came to my trusted little ice cream making book, Incredible Vegan Ice Cream by Dina Jalal, and they have a recipe here for how to make an ice cream cake. I can't find it now, but it's here. How to make an ice cream cake. And I'm probably going to make my own birthday cake this year, as I usually sometimes do. For celebrations, I make my own cakes. So, yeah, I am going to make myself a vegan ice cream cake for my birthday. So I'm looking forward to it. On to the mini reviews. Okay. Once I Was You by Maria Hinojosa. I listened to this book on audio, and Maria Hinojosa tells her life story from being a young girl and her family immigrating from Mexico to the United States to reside in Chicago, to then her youth, her wanting to grow up, and her education, her career aspirations, her marriage, and the traumas that she lived through, her personal traumas, and also political traumas. So as a journalist, she's had a chance to see politics play out over decades. And she is looking back and reflecting on how she's been a lauding voice for what we're seeing now. She has constantly, through her career, through her reporting, warned about the dangers of mass deportations, and she's been reporting on what Latinos are experiencing in their communities and why Latinos vote the way that they do. And I think she's been a good and conscientious voice in terms of the politics that affect Latinos and the Latino community. And she has this tag phrase at the end of all her podcast episodes, no te vayas. And I feel like it's her voice saying, no te vayas. It keeps me anchored. And in my place, in my community, and feeling like, you know what, I'll deal with retirement when it gets here. And if I have the chance to go back, maybe I will. But for now, what's my thing to do here? So Once I Was You was a wonderful book that talked about what it's like to be an immigrant in the United States, and it's a badass woman's account of learning to be badass in the face of trauma and discrimination, and learning to fight for her dreams, even when those dreams are difficult to imagine, when you're dealing with imposter syndrome and people keep telling you that you are not enough, you are not good enough to deserve the things that you work hard to obtain. It was really great. I don't usually rate memoirs, but I give it my utmost praise, and I'm happy I read it, and I would highly recommend it. Bite by Bite by Aimee, Nezhukumatathil, Nourishment and Jamborees, and we read this for book club. It was awesome. I loved it. Aimee Nezhukumatathil is a poet, and this book is poetic. This is like every chapter is a note to a different kind of food. And she tells a story in a way that is beautiful, and it's intersecting her love of food with her love of family and culture and heritage. So it read like a memoir through books because it was vignettes of this author's life in stories told through nourishment. And it does feel like it's a self-care kind of book. So if you're feeling like you want a good just exhale that feels like self-care, that encourages you to nourish yourself and to celebrate abundance in food and the simple joys of eating and comfort, like this is the right book for you. If you're a foodie and you just want a comfort read, this is a must read. So 5 stars. That's it. That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Hasta la próxima.